I bet your deadlift start position needs some work. That's probably why your deadlifts got stuck in this 2 to 4 plate range and you can't seem to break past 4 plates to 5 plates and beyond. I coach intermediate guys like you all the time, and the most common error I see is poor start position. Too many guys are trying to turn the deadlift into a squat. They drop the hips really low, they bend their knees a bunch. Then as soon as the bar leaves the floor, the hips shoot up and it turns into this weird stiff leg, 2-part motion. And then they tell me their back hurts, the deadlift feels too hard. They quit deadlifting and they never get to their strength goals. In this video, I am going to give you one simple cue that will literally ensure your start position is perfect every single rep on the deadlift without guessing. And if you would like me to personally review your deadlift technique, and I've coached loads of 4, 5, 6, even 7+ and beyond deadlifters, you can book a call with me, top link in the description. We will come up with a plan for your deadlift together and I will personally review your deadlift technique. So let's get straight into it. All the time, I coach intermediate guys and the start position is by far the most common thing that we have to figure out together. Now, guys usually fall into one of 2 camps with their deadlift. Camp number 1 is what I described in the intro. They try and turn the deadlift into a squat. They drop the hips down really low, they bend the knees a lot, they push the bar forward a little bit, and then the hips shoot up and it's like a 2-part motion, and usually they end up hurting their back in this scenario. Scenario number 2 is where guys just use no legs at all. The hips are really high, like in a stiff leg deadlift, and it's just like a pure hinge. They go through a massive range of motion. They don't use their quads at all. And neither of these scenarios are ideal for lifting heavy weights. And that's probably why your deadlift isn't making much progress and you keep hurting your back. So what is good deadlift technique? And we have a few ideals that we need to kind of fulfill in order to have a strong deadlift. Thing number 1, the bar must leave the floor over the middle of your foot. This has to happen. If there is a sufficiently heavy weight on the bar will not leave the floor unless it's positioned directly over the middle of the foot. This is just physics. It won't happen any other way. And when you finish a deadlift, when you're at the top of the lift at lockout holding a heavy weight, it's going to be positioned over the middle of the foot. That means it has to leave the floor over the middle of the foot, because if it doesn't and it deviates from this line, it means we wasted force, because the most efficient point from the floor to the lockout is a straight vertical line, right? Now, with that in mind, the bar has to leave the floor over the middle of the foot. This will position the bar directly over the shoulder blades with the shoulders slightly in front of the bar. And I'll get my editor to put a clip on screen, but this is true for everyone. This isn't like a optional thing if you've got short legs, long legs or something like that. These factors hold true for every single person who ever deadlifts, okay? Bar over the middle of the foot, shoulders very slightly in front of the bar with the bar over the shoulder blades, okay? Now, people love to use outliers and different examples, and I'll give you a good example. So if you go look at Eddie Hall's world record deadlift, you can see him and even other strongmen do this as well. Even when they are rolling the bar around and they're trying to like find their groove, watch where the bar is positioned when it actually leaves the floor. It's when it clicks into place over the middle of the foot, once their hips rise up into the correct position with the shoulders in front of the bar. So you can see this holds true on 2-plate, 3-plate deadlifters, all the way up to like half of a ton, 500 kilo deadlifters. So how do you fix your start position? How do you make sure that your hips are at the correct height every single time? And I have a very simple cue for this, and I'm going to tell you how to implement it. So when I have guys come to me and their start position is very inconsistent, I simply tell them, get into a start position and then utilize this cue. The cue is, I simply want you to line your knees up with the inside pits of your elbow at the bottom of the lift. So when you're at the bottom of the lift, you've got your hands on the bar ready to complete the lift. I simply want you to line up the knees with the inside pits of the elbows. And you can see this on video for my own deadlift and others. And it seems to work for everyone, like independent of height, limb length, all these different things. Hundreds of people that I've coached, this just seems to hold true for everyone. So if you are struggling with your start position, I would highly recommend that you just use this cue. You're at the bottom position, line the knees up with the inside pits of the elbow, and it should instantly fix your problems. Now, how do you actually implement this into your setup then? Because this is only one part of the equation. So if you're looking to actually improve your deadlift overall, first thing that I would recommend you guys do is go and watch Alan Thrall's 5-step deadlift setup. And I'm going to put a link to it on screen because I honestly think this is the best video on deadlift technique on the internet. Go follow this, and I want you to make those 5 steps second nature. So get to the point where you don't even need to think about it. And you can see, even in my own deadlift setup, I still use these steps to a degree. Like, I still position the bar over the middle of the foot. I still grip the bar just outside of the shins. I still set my back into extension. And then once these steps are second nature and you can just do them every single time, then you can just add my cue in at the end, and that's going to guarantee that your start position is perfect every single time. So think of the 5 steps as like the foundation of your technique, making it repeatable, making it consistent. And then think of my cue as just like a little confirmation at the end that the hips are at the correct height. And if you're going to use this cue, I would recommend that you record your deadlift from the side, watch each of your reps, each of your sets, and you'll start to observe a trend of what you do with the hips. Do you drop them too low? Do you have them too high? And I'll tell you how to troubleshoot that as well. So if you use this tip and you record yourself from the side, you're going to notice one of 2 things. If you have a tendency to drop your hips too low, you will see that your knees are far forward of the pits of your elbows, okay? So you're going to see from the side your knees sticking out past your arms. That means your hips are too low. To fix that, you simply need to pull the bar a little bit closer to you and bring the hips up about 1 inch, and that'll fix it. On the other side of that, if you can't see your knees at all and they're behind your elbows, that tells me the hips are a little bit too high. I don't see that scenario as often, but it can happen. If that does happen to you, you simply just need to move the bar forward a tiny bit over the middle of the foot. It's probably a bit close to your shins, and then bring your hips down a tiny bit so you can involve the quads in the lift a bit more. So very simple fix, and it will guarantee a perfect start position every single time. Now, I've got a couple quick pro tips for you that will also help kind of ingrain this cue and improve your deadlift technique. The first one is, most of you do not deadlift often enough. A lot of you who are coming from like 5x5, 5-3-1 or something like that are probably only deadlifting once a week, or maybe on a secondary day you do like some high reps or something. So I'd highly recommend that you try and get yourself to a twice a week deadlift frequency. That practice will immediately improve your technique, and you will just naturally see a very quick improvement in your positioning on the deadlift. If you're already deadlifting twice a week, or you want to add a second session in, I would highly recommend that you add in a paused deadlift. Now, a paused deadlift is basically just you perform the lift as normal, but on the way up, as soon as the bar leaves the floor, so it's come off the floor by about 1 inch, I want you to pause for a second. So literally hold that position for an entire second, no movement at all, and then complete the rest of the lift. The reason why the paused deadlift is so effective is because it will force you to naturally arrange yourself into a better position. Because think about it, it's going to be really hard to pause a heavy weight in a bad position. Like if that bar is out in front of you, or it's too close to you and it's not aligned mid-foot in an efficient position, you're straight away going to feel it. Because if the bar's off your shins, it's going to feel really heavy, and then you pull it in close and you're going to think that was way easier. And then on the next rep, you'll correct and you'll correct again. So I really like the paused deadlift for addressing positioning issues. So I really hope this video helps you to improve your deadlift technique. If you take anything from this video, nail down the 5 steps from Alan Thrall, make them consistent and repeatable. Add my cue in at the end to line your knees up with the inside pits of your elbows. That will ensure a perfect start position every single time. If you're still struggling, up the deadlift frequency to twice a week, and consider a paused deadlift 1 inch off the ground on the way up. And that's going to dramatically improve your deadlift technique and get you to 4 plates, 5 plates and beyond. If you have any questions or comments on the deadlift, post them in the comment section down below. I've also got a free training program here, which includes deadlift at twice a week. It even includes the paused deadlift in there to helk you out. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you in the next video.